Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cow Corner Cricket Cast. I'm your host, Pratham, and I'm joined by my other host.
Rohan, hey, it's been a while.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a while. And, I think we all know why. A certain tournament that we were covering pretty closely just so happened to completely shut down. Or, I'm sorry, be suspended, if you will.
Probably there are two upsides to this. Two upsides. First, my fantasy team, which was complete trash,
It was
doesn't matter
really
anymore.
trash.
The second is that we get to cover other kinds of cricket.
Yes, and amongst those is a series that I was following intently on the side. But obviously, when you're covering IPL matches, it was a bit on the back burner because it's longer. But the Pakistan versus Zimbabwe Test series. It's always fun seeing both of these teams play. They both have a tendency of either punching above their weight or failing spectacularly. And
Which is fun because, that's really what we're watching Test cricket for. The cricket is it's supplemental. The drama, that's the actual interesting bit.
Exactly. And also, they don't play, in my opinion, nearly enough cricket. There were stats that showed in the last decade alone, right? They had some of the lowest rates of, matches that were played with them, right, as test playing nations, which is a shame, really, because
Especially for Pakistan. Especially
Yeah.
for Pakistan, with a country as rich a test history as they do, to be playing as few matches as they have been. This year, I think, under new management. They're under new management, I believe.
Yes, Mohammad Osim and co, right?
And I think they're building a better first-class and test structure. I mean, that's what you've been telling me in all of our discussions. So I
Yes.
think it's a good thing to see them playing more cricket. I think Test cricket is really for the best when all of the nations play. So it's fun to see them back and see them playing.
And it's been really fun to watch them throughout the years that I've been watching cricket, right? So great to see them back. So on to the first day, right, of this test match. I thought it was a match that, for 2/3 of it, to be quite frank with you guys, I thought was incredibly boring. And then in the last half, it got super interesting.
So I was asleep for the first half of the match. I'm going to be honest and upfront. It started at 3 a.m. here, so I was like, I'm not waking up for a match at 3 a.m.
Yeah, you don't have as screwed up of a sleep schedule like me.
Yeah,
I can actually stay up and watch this stuff.
Yeah. So I put on the match. I get up at 8 a.m. I put on the match. I start watching, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is Zimbabwe happening to Zimbabwe all over again. They just don't have the quality players to.
Yeah, they were getting flogged by.
They're just getting smashed.
By Abid and Azhar,
yeah.
who had that double century partnership, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but Imran Butt had gotten early to actually.
Yeah, he got early in the day, 30 balls in, and he's out.
Yeah, he was a pretty good delivery, right? If we're talking about it,
no, take nothing away from the Zimbabwean fast bowlers.
Yeah, Ngarava, who's a new pacer for them, a left armer, tall, interesting combo. You don't see that too much in Zimbabwean cricket, a tall left armer. I mean, in the world cricket in general, but especially Zimbabwean cricket. But very good delivery. He played it poorly. He has issues with bounce, but after that, the pitch was pretty placid and seemed pretty placid and sluggish, right? To allow Abid and Azhar to settle in, and they both did their jobs and scored centuries. But then the wicket of Azhar came, right?
Yeah. Great ball, by the way.
Yeah, well, blessing Muzarabani been a revelation throughout the story. We'll talk about him a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he took a couple of strikes out, and really the match changed with that second new ball spell from him, where they took 3 wickets in a hurry. First, you got Azhar.
I mean, he took out Pakistan's 2 key players.
3 key players. He took out Azhar
and Azhar too. Yeah.
He took out Azhar, Babar, and then he roughed up Fawad brilliantly. Actually, the first ball that Fawad faced was like a rip snorting bouncer, right? And Fawad really looked unsettled for the remaining duration of the crease. And the shot that he played was a bit ungainly, but it was really some excellent setup.
I think this is the first time since his recall that I've ever seen Fawad alone just uncomfortable, genuinely uncomfortable. Not like it's just a bowler who's bowling well. No. And he's struggling to play. That happens to every batsman. I mean, uncomfortable, as in he didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah, the shot that he played, right? He was all. I mean, Fawad does have a crouch stance in general, but the way that he played that shot, the bat was in the air. was
Yeah,
completely
he's trying to decide between leaving or hitting.
pulling, right? And
Yeah.
I think it was a great delivery. I think the night watchman, who by the way is his second test match playing, so props to him as well, played
Yeah,
him.
I mean, it takes guts to come out and play as a night watchman, especially if it's your second match ever.
Yeah, especially because that delivery that he got first up from Blessing Muzarabani is probably the ball of the day. It just like snake back, it bounced. It was kind of like a delivery that a windy spacer from like the 90s,
Yeah,
like Ambrose of Walsh would do.
I was actually thinking about that. They
And it hit him. It hit him, and
Yeah,
for him to survive, right?
they just have that feeling. Those two, when they were bowling at the end, it was like watching not in the full glory of Ambrose and Walsh, but it was like watching Ambrose and Walsh just like differently. It's like through a fractured lens, like in the way they were bowling.
Yeah, no, I mean
Just the
obviously,
hostility.
yeah, they're not like obviously neither.
Obviously,
of them
they're not two of the greatest bass bowlers that have ever lived.
Yeah, but it was
But-
a really quality spell from both of them in that second new ball. I did want to ask you this, right? Do you think the strategy that Pakistan had when that second new ball was taken, right, of sending out the correct order of batsmen was necessarily the best idea? I know it would make sense. You expect your new ball bowlers to negotiate it, but especially after you started seeing, Muzarabani generate that bounce and dismiss Babar, do you
Yeah.
think the night watchman Sajid should have come in a little bit earlier?
I am a believer of the Alan Border school when it comes to night watchman. The best night watchman you have is the best batsman who is still left to bat.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like I understand like the concern. Oh well, we have to preserve these wickets, but do you honestly think a night watchman is going to do too much against that spell? No, he's going to get out. They're
Yeah,
not good.
although the
only-
advantage with the night watchman is he might not edge or like hit the ball itself, which is kind of nice if you're like
which is nice, but again, the edges that they got were from balls that were intended to be put right in the place where you have to hit them. It wasn't like
yeah.
they were playing way outside the line. It was just good bowling. It wasn't
Yeah.
so much a night watchman, no night watchman really won't change too much there. And I'd prefer having my bowlers healthy rather than taking a few, because as we've seen in at least the last 5 years, the biggest determining factor on who wins a test match is bowlers.
I think actually that second spell, right, when they took the new ball, highlights something about the Zimbabwean attack as well, right? I think they had a decent day. I don't want to be too rude to them, but this is really barring Blessing Muzarabani, who's really ever since his county stint has improved leaps and bounds, and Ngarava, who has the height and the swinging, he gets outswing to the right-handers, for instance, right, which is remarkable. Usually you have somebody who can only left armers usually swing it
in
the right hand.
then, yeah.
Yeah,
You can swing both ways.
apart from those two, right, this is a very pop gun attack, right? Look at the other bowling attack, right? Like Therapana bowled. I like the guy, but he bowled really poorly today. Too short, too wide. Was trundling a little bit too much. The pacer was down. You had Luke Jongwei, who was picked on his T20 exploits, and he won them a match against Pakistan in the series, right, in the T20s. Yeah. But the reason why I think it was a bad pick is because Luke Jongwei strikes me from that match, even when I watched his performance, he had a bunch of nice variations of pace, and he, sort of on a pitch which was a little bit, too paced, he bowled out that Pakistani lineup for 99 on the basis of those variations and those cutters and so forth, right? But that alone's not going to get you to be penetrative.
That's what you need for Test cricket. No.
Yeah, he's not accurate enough, or doesn't swing the ball late enough, or anything of that to do it. And I mean, his figures will show that he was fairly economical today, but he was not didn't put in a good bowling performance. Again, too wide, in my opinion. And then Chizoro, I think Tendai Chizoro, I think that's his name.
He's their spinner, right?
Yeah. Like, the thing about him is, I know I'm gonna sound really weird by saying this, but his problem is that he's too consistent.
Oh, he doesn't bowl. He doesn't change his lengths or paces enough, right?
It's not only that, right? Like, his exact delivery, his exact release points, right, are the exact same, right? For like almost every delivery. And so the problem with that is that if you're bowling the same place, same area, and you're not getting much purchase off the wicket, which he didn't today, there wasn't a lot of turn available or anything, and you're not getting any sort of like exploiting the rough or the bounce or have any other skill sets that can like allow you to vary or unsettle the batsman, then the batsman can just play you easily, especially if they're subcontinent batsmen who have decent techniques against spin. I know this Pakistani team is weaker than previous Pakistani teams of Yunus against spin, but they could play really well still against a bowler of Chisoro's quality. And I just feel like he doesn't turn the ball enough, so when he's bowling that consistent line and there's not assistance in the wicket, he's prone to being struggling. It's funny because there was an Australian bowler like this, Ben Hilfenhaus. He had the exact same problem. He could get really good outswing in good conditions and had decent pace, but he'd bowl the same ball in the exact same area. So you could it was very predictable. What do you think is a score that they should restrict Pakistan to? Because I think realistically they need to restrict them under 375 to have a chance, right? I think that puts a lot of pressure on them.
I think they have. I mean, the big issue for them are that Hassan Ali and Mohammad Rizwan are coming in. Rizwan is probably either the most on-form cricketer keeper in world cricket, or the second most on-form keeper in cricket. So you're going to have to deal with Mohammad Rizwan, who's coming in probably the next wicket, and then you're going to have to deal with Hassan Ali coming in after that.
Who can slash?
You can slash, right? I mean, like, that's really why he's in the squad. He's not in the squad because he's a proper bat. No, he's just in there to hit. Like early
he's a good
Jadeja.
bowler, but like
he's a good bowler. But when he's in the batting lineup where he is, because he comes out and hits.
Yeah.
So I think the current squad that they have set up, I would say if they can get them out for anything under 450, that is a competitive enough total. Ideally, you get them out under 400, and that's advantage Zimbabwe. In this match. And I don't mean advantage in the sense that personally I don't think this is going to go to a result. If it goes to a result, it'll probably be Pakistan victory.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go to a result, I think that goes in the favor of Zimbabwe. They just need to get themselves in.
Yeah, not losing
for at least a session tomorrow.
Yeah, not losing a test match to Pakistan can be considered a victory for the Zimbabwean team, because the expectations, if we're being honest, are pretty low of Zimbabwe test cricket at the moment, mainly because they just don't have a settled lineup.
Yeah, obviously they've had issues with injuries and COVID, I believe.
I'll say we do have to give credit to the Pakistani batsman here, in Abid and Azhar. I'm still not convinced on Abid's technique when it comes to, as an opener on surfaces that provide more bounce and more on non-Asian or subcontinental or placid wickets. I think he still struggles with the in-ducker, and he's very weak against the bouncer. He was unsettled clearly when Muzarabani bent his back in that second spell. Imran Butt, again, I mean, I know he scored a 50 in the last match, but he's looking really poor against the short ball. He needs to go back to domestic cricket.
Pakistan needs more opening batsmen who can come in.
Yeah, quality test match opening batsman. Yeah.
Because they need to blunt that new ball before Fowler and Babar who will come in.
Yeah. I guess the other question today, that I wanted to ask you really was, do you there has been this argument that Azhar Ali should, as a senior, come up in the order, open like he has. He's been successful in that role, and allow Saud Shakeel, who has been a domestic prolific scorer, for the last 5 years, I think he's been in the top 5 scoring things. He's a middle order batsman, but you could probably play him at number 3. There is an argument that if they are struggling with this opening combination, right? You pick him to open, and then you pick Azhar to open, and then you pick Saud Shakeel at 3. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it matters more to Pakistan about the team structure. Again, this has been a common theme in all of our podcasts. Team structure this, team structure that.
Yeah, glad Bharat is not here. Otherwise, you talk about the Bharat template.
Yeah, the Bharat template. I think in this sense, it depends in my opinion, it depends on how Pakistan want to set up to play. What kind of country do they want to emulate in how they want to play? Do they want to be more like England? Or do they want to be more like Australia and India? Where Australia and India, they have batsmen who are technically proficient enough to open, and then they have a guy who could open in a pinch, who can come in at number 3, first drop. and can bat a long time, bat well, and get runs on the board? Or do you want to go like England and have two really good openers, blunt the new ball, kill the opposition, then have a guy who can come in at number 3 who can sort of accelerate the scoring rate, start putting pressure back on the opposition, and then a proper number 4, number 5, and number 6. The question is, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go forward? Do you want to put pressure on the bowling attack from ball 1? Or do you want to grind them down?
Yeah.
Like England and the West Indies do, or South Africa does.
I think because Pakistan have explosive batsmen in the middle order, at least in the not explosive but played good strikers, right?
Yeah.
I think logically it makes, for me at least, I do agree with the people who say that Azhar should open. He's a senior batsman. It's important for a senior batsman to show responsibility in a lineup that is fragile or is not quite performing to its potential. Come up the order. You still have the talent to open, right? You can still do it. We can clearly see that you can score runs even though you're not at your best.
I mean, he's anyway coming in 2 runs,
it's like you're coming in anyways, right? It's not like the openers are doing that great of a job, right? So I'd pick him to open. I'd definitely pick Saud Shakeel. Overall, I would say though, advantage Pakistan.
Overall in the match, yeah. I mean, 250. You have Rizwan coming. You have Hassan Ali coming. This is probably going to go to a Pakistan victory.
I think Pakistan's goal should be to first thing tomorrow, get to about a 450 plus score, and then basically
keep batting for another day.
Yeah, keep batting for another day. Then unleash your spinners, especially on a wearing wicket. Expect Sajid and Norman to do their thing, and I think that would be the strategy going forward. But a promising test match. We will come back to you once it's done with some more analysis insight on how the match fared out. Till then,
see you guys.
Bye.